Okay, this will be a refresher for most of you, but operations with polynomials, specifically addition and subtraction. So notice this first example, we have subtraction. Now you have to remember one good way to think about that subtract sign is think about that is adding that invisible -1. That will help you to remember that you would do the distribute with that negative. If not, think about it this way. That negative sign tells you for everything in here, do the opposite. And then rewrite it. One of the easiest ways is then rewrite it. Bring down a to n cubed. Bring down plus 5. This says subtract 4, so bring down subtract 4. This says subtract. What's the opposite? So notice each thing in here, the opposite happened. That was positive 4, negative 4, negative 5, n cubed, positive 5 n cubed, because this subtract sign on the outside forces everything on the inside. Only the stuff that follows, not the stuff that precedes, only the stuff that follows that subtract sign. And then you have to look at, are anything or any of those terms alike? We want to put it in standard form, meaning the highest degree exponent goes first, and then the constant is last. Okay, so we have 8n cubed plus 5n cubed. Well, that's 13n cubed. Because remember, when you're adding polynomials, you don't add the exponents. You're just counting how many of those n cubes do I have? Well, I have 8 of them and 5 of them, which is 13 of them. And then we have 5 subtract 4. Whoops. 5 subtract 4 is 1. All right, now we're going to come over here and we're adding. So let's see what we have. The highest degree is m to the 4th. So 1m plus 7m to the 4th. So one technique is a good idea is to rewrite them. If some of you have a hard time or maybe make a lot of clerical mistakes, rewrite them by bringing, remember the associative property and commutative properties of addition. You can move things around and regroup things. We could just regroup that. So 1m to the 4th plus 7m to the 4th is 8m to the 4th, and 4m subtract 5m is negative 1m. All right, let's come over here. Multiplication now. So these operations were addition and subtraction. Now multiplication. Well, this is just going to be do the distributive. And everybody that's this far in videos know how to do that. So 15x squared plus 10x plus 40. This is just a binomial squared. A binomial, two binomials being multiplied. So 8x times 4x, 8x times negative 7. Then, once you finish that, then it's negative 6 times 4x and negative 6 times 7. So 8x times 4x is 32x squared. 8x times negative 7 is negative 56x. That's done. Negative 6 times 4x is negative 24x. Negative 6 times 7 is positive 42. And then those two terms in the middle are alike, so you can add those things together. So we end up with 32x squared minus, is that 80x? Plus 42. Notice I don't teach the FOIL method. The reason I don't teach the FOIL method is for this example and this example. The FOIL method only works with binomials. So if it really only works in one situation, I'm going to just keep referring to it as distributive because the distributive method works every time. So I'm probably just going to show these very quickly rather than doing all of them. So look at what we have. We have p times all three of those, which is right here, and then negative 4 times all three of those. And then look at what I did instead of putting them next to each other, because sometimes it's difficult to keep track of 6 things. I lined them up. Negative 4 times 6p squared. Wow, I left off the 24 right there. That is not good. I'm glad I caught that. But the p squareds, I put them in the same column like place value. And then negative 4 times negative 2p is positive 8p underneath 7p. Negative 4 times negative 7 is positive 28. And then you just add the columns, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing here, but now there are going to be, this whole process is like, let's say we had 538, that's not what that would be, times 532. Well, you'd have this times all of that in this row. Then you'd move over one, this times all of that. And then you'd have this times all of that. Well, that's what I'm going to do here. Treat it like it's a 3 place value number times a 3 place value number. So you're going to multiply those things, and this is the result. Then I'm going to ignore that, and now I'm going to multiply negative 3v times each of those. And when I do that, I'm going to line them up in place value. Because negative 3v times 5v squared is negative 15v cubed, I lined it up under the v cubed. Negative 3v times positive 3v is negative 9v squared. That's also lined up under v squared, and so forth. And I do that with each of them. And then I add up the columns. And look, when I add up this column, you could put a plus 0 there, I guess, if you want. Those cancel. And then I add up all those columns, then I simplify, and that's what we have. That's it with operations of polynomials. We'll get to division later, but for addition, subtraction, multiplication, hopefully this has been helpful.